Welcome back to my little mini series where I talk about behind the scenes of being a business owner. Today we're going to talk about work-life balance in your 20s, which I think is something that is literally so difficult, especially as a business owner. So from my point of view, I started my business when I was 21 years old. I'm 22 now, and every 20-year-old goes through so many changes in their life. Through the time that I've been running my business, I've had to deal with anxiety, imposter syndrome, grief, breakups, you name it, everything. And I really think that's so difficult to navigate when you're in your 20s. You're trying to decide who you are as a person, what interests you, where do you want to take your career, where do you want to take your life? Do you want to go travelling and find yourself? Do you want to start a business? Do you want to go to university? Do you want to find a good job and work your way up the ladder? In your 20s, you have so many options, and I found myself at so many different crossroads where I think, am I doing the right thing? Which path do I take? Because there's so many, and I have no idea what to do. And I think friendships is also something that's quite difficult when you're running a business in your 20s. You find yourself so consumed in your work, working absolutely crazy hours, and you forget to take care of yourself, but you also forget to catch up and spend time with the people around you, whether that be friends and family, a partner, etc. And I think that is so difficult to navigate. And I know in my journey so far I haven't handled certain situations the best. I've definitely hid myself away. I haven't been as present in situations as I would like to. It's all part of working it out. But being a business owner, everything is on you, especially when you're a solopreneur. So if you want something done, you have to do it yourself. There's no one that you can delegate a task to. So if I have a huge to-do list and it's coming up to Friday and I've still got loads to do, unfortunately that to-do list is on me. It's not on anyone else. It's my responsibility. And so there have been times where I've cancelled weekend plans because my to-do list is too big and I know I need to sit down for a day or two and sort it out and catch up. When I was a couple of months into my business, I decided to buy a work phone, and I thought that it would give me more separation with work and life. All my friends and my family are on one phone. All my clients and my work social media is on another phone, and I thought that would give me peace. Now I just carry around two phones like an idiot all of the time. For example, back in summer, I went down to see my friends in Bournemouth for a festival. I was stressed out of my mind. I had thoughts that I wasn't going to go. I thought I was going to cancel because I had too much on. I was so stressed. But my mum said, you need to go and be a normal 20-year-old and enjoy it. So I went, and when they were having prees in the morning, I sat on my two phones like an idiot, replying to client messages, scheduling posts, doing all the things that I needed to do, but I wasn't being present in that moment. And I went to the festival with the girls, had the best time, screamed my heart out to ABBA, loved it. And then at 2 a.m, got so stressed. I was trying to sleep and I just couldn't because I knew I had so much work on, and that if I stayed, I'd have brunch, and then I'd stay, and then I'd leave, and then I'd get back to London about 6 in the evening, and I wouldn't have enough time to finish my work. So, like a stressed out business owner, I drove home at 2 a.m. in the morning so that I could wake up at 9 and have the whole day to work. Which sounds ridiculous because it is. I didn't need to do that. I should have been more present in the moment. But at the time, I couldn't think of anything else but work. There's also been times in relationships where the business has been a centre of a disagreement or an argument. I come across a lot of people that like the idea that I run a business, but in reality they hate the idea that I run a business because I don't work conventional hours. So if I want to have a lie-in, because I love my sleep, I'm a sleepy girly, I will have a lie-in and I'll happily work later into the evening because something needs to be done. Or if I'm out all day with clients and I need to come back in the evening and do a couple of catch-ups and write a couple of emails, I need to do that. Some people don't agree with that, and so that has been incredibly difficult, especially when you're going through a breakup in a business. You want to take the time for yourself to heal, to process your emotions, but at the same time, sometimes you can't necessarily take that time out of your business, especially when it's you, because you're the only person running things. I went through a horrific breakup nearing the beginning of my business, and I would literally wake up, go make myself a cup of tea and Nutella on toast because it's my favourite meal, and I would just sit there and cry into my Nutella on toast until it was soggy because I was so upset, I was so heartbroken, I didn't know how to process my emotions. Yeah, I still had client meetings and catch-ups to do, and for me that was really difficult to navigate because I didn't know how to separate both of them. I felt like at the time I couldn't take a week off to process my emotions, and that was so hard. I've definitely got better at it now, but it is something for me that is really difficult. especially when something pops up that you didn't plan for, that you need to process as a human being. When you have so much planned in your diary already, I do find it really difficult to cancel things because I feel bad, to be honest. I don't like letting people down. And so that's been really difficult to navigate. Also, learning to take time for yourself is so important. And I know every entrepreneur bangs on about it, but at the beginning, I didn't listen to them. I thought, no, I've got so much energy, I've got so much passion, I'll just bob along. And then I got burnout. And burnout was the most horrific thing. It all came to a head when my sister asked me to go to a concert with her in London. Bearing in mind, I live in London. And I just started crying because I didn't have the energy to go to that concert, and the thought of going to that concert made me cry. And I thought, oh my goodness, how have I gotten here? I've learned to do really small things. Like I have a ginormous Stanley Cup that I fill up with Ribena every single morning to make sure that I know that I've at least drunk that in a day if I'm not going to move from my desk. The second thing is either meal prepping or make sure you've got quick meals to put together during the day. There was a time where I didn't schedule lunch into my calendar, and so then I wouldn't have lunch because people would schedule meetings through Calendly because they would see that it's free, and then I wouldn't eat, which is obviously a terrible idea. So now I schedule lunch and I make sure there's easy things, so even if I've got 15 minutes, I know I've got something downstairs that I can go have for lunch. Also, winding down after work is really important. I will always be watching a series of something and I'll watch 1 or 2 episodes of it before I go to bed. And I'll put my work phone far away from me so I don't touch it. And that time is really important so your brain decompresses everything that you've been doing throughout the day. Otherwise, I kid you not, I was having tax epiphanies, tax dreams while sleeping, which was completely unnerving. And so to wind down and relax before you go to sleep is really important. I've started to try to fall back in love with the gym recently. I've been trying to go most mornings just so I can move around, especially if I'm sat behind a desk all day. You need to move around, see sunlight, get vitamin D, get some steps in so that you are looking after yourself, because you're the most important asset in your business. If you're not looking after yourself and your mental health deteriorates, that has an effect on the business. Therefore, you have to look after yourself. Another top tip is always booking a break somewhere, or booking out a day in your calendar every so often where you don't have to work and you go do something, you go to a new city and take your mind off work. It's really important to have a rest and reset time. When you're employed, you get annual leave. And on that annual leave, I would usually book a trip away to somewhere like Spain and have a lovely time, and I wouldn't take my laptop with me because I didn't have to. Now as a business owner, I feel like there are absolutely no holidays. I have no concept of when a half term is, or a holiday, a bank holiday. I have no idea. And so you need to book that time out in your calendar like you would if you were employed for annual leave. And sometimes I know that we feel like we can't switch off and something's constantly going on. But for example, I went on holiday this summer for 3 weeks and I was terrified because I'd never been away with my business for that long. So for the first 2 weeks, I was in the south of France with my family, and I blocked out 11 till 4 every single day to not work. So I would schedule a couple of meetings in the morning and then do some admin in the evening. And for me, that was the perfect balance between work and life. I had enough time to spend with my family and enough time to tan, which is the most important thing of a hot holiday. But for me, that worked perfectly. And then for the 3rd week, I went to Spain with my cousin, and I decided to be out of office for the entire week. So I didn't work the entire week except for one rainy afternoon where I looked at a couple of LinkedIn messages. That week off was absolutely delightful. I didn't worry about work at all. Nothing horrible went wrong in my business. I put my out of office emails on as well so everyone knew I was away, and I set my expectations with my clients that I was away. But it is about setting those expectations with your family, your friends and your clients, and honestly with yourself, so that you can look after yourself. Finding balance between work and life running a business, especially in your 20s, is never easy, and I have by no means hacked it or mastered it yet, but these are just a couple of tips and tricks that I've learned on my journey.